Hello. Can you state your name, please?
My name is Trinette Purnell.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Today is July the 6th, 2020, and I am doing a mask off interview at Trinette Purnell. All right. Tell me how many children you have and their names and ages, Trinette.
I have two children, both deceased. Lost one due cancer at age 20. And then I had my son, which is Vidal, and I lost him in 2018 to gun violence.
Thank
Um, he had no kids and graduated high school and college and
you.
working for the city of Virginia Beach.
Thank you. Okay, do you mind telling me or telling us what happened to your son and say his name?
His name is Vidal. I call him man. His father calls him son. Everybody know him by son, but mainly I called him man because he was my man. Um, he was coming out of I won't say the neighborhood, but he was in a neighborhood and it was a setup basically. He got shot 6 times and he made it to the hospital. Um, He didn't, after the 24 hours, 24 minutes, he came back to life and he didn't make it. By the time I got to the hospital, I found out that he didn't make it, and we're a year and 15 months later, kind of lost date and time. This is where we're at, and we're still trying to find out who actually pulled the trigger, who shot him, and what's going on. It's a lot of speculation out of why, when, and what, but of course it's hearsay. So at this point, we're still at a trying to figure out why this happened to my son.
Okay. So, do you remember the night when everything happened? Can you recollect anything different about him or you?
Um, no, actually, the only strange thing is the phone call. Um, he used to get off. I got off at 5:30. He got off around 6:30. We would call each other all the time. As I say, he being the only child at that time. We talked constantly. We had a great relationship. I called to see how his day went. He told me he had problems with his car. He was going to get his car looked at. Asked him how his day was going. He said his day went well at work. Um, about 7:45, I got a phone call. It was a call from my son, and we talked for about 15 minutes. And about 8:08, I was looking at divorce. It was on a Tuesday night, October 23rd. My phone rang and it was said my son, and I didn't get to the phone in time though, so I called him back and his phone just rung. And it was kind of strange, so I said I'm gonna use the restroom, and I came out the restroom and I went to call him back and he didn't answer. Something in my stomach, mother's tuition, I guess, just said something was wrong. So I texted him and said, son, are you okay? Call me back, because I had just spoken with him. Um, so again, my stomach nervous. I went back to the restroom and Facebook rang on my phone, and I say, oh God, this can't be good. Why did it go there? I don't know. God's intuition again, a woman's intuition, a mother's intuition. And it was my son's cousin to tell me that my son had just gotten shot. So it's as if every day on the 23rd of every month, I live that out. To this day, I can't even look at divorce. To this day at 8 o'clock, I make sure I'm busy, I'm doing something, because I can't let that moment, that time of the day, control my life. I have to figure out ways to get around that because it makes me so angry. But I do remember it as if it was yesterday.
Okay. Um, and basically, when you found out everything, you got that phone call. you had to go to the police and things of that nature. What were your interactions with the police department, hospitals, and the medical examiners, things of that nature?
To be honest, a joke.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they take young black men lives seriously as they say they do. I don't think they take the fact that it's a lot of crime on the street. I never said that my child was an angel, but my child didn't deserve his life to be taken. The hospital, a joke. I didn't get to see my son until Shauna helped me get in prospect of things because I had no one to help me to go in the right direction. The detectives, they tell you stuff to appease you, but they don't tell you the actual things. They try to tell you, oh, what your son had on, this, and that. We got a lot of dysfunctional families out here. But one thing with me and my son, we had a really great relationship. And you couldn't tell me, I can't tell you everything that my son wouldn't do because no parent can, but I could tell you the majority of the things that my son would or would not do. And that's for every parent. The medical examiner, I haven't even made it to that point yet because I still haven't read the report that we even received, me and Shauna, that when we talked to the hospital. The only thing I was appeased on was the surgeons when we went to talk to the surgeons. They was very open and honest. The trauma surgeon did say that he tried everything he possibly could to save my son's life. And I had a witness there, which was Shauna, to verify that he did. I felt sincere in my heart that he did try everything that he possibly could do. Then in the medical field, I know how cocky they can be. So I felt some assurance that he did try everything that he could do. Rushing my son and doing everything that he could do, he tried. That's the best he could do. The detectives, again, a joke. The
What
hospital
city
itself,
did your son, the interactions with the police department, what city was this?
this is Norfolk.
Okay.
And
you can speak about this now, right?
yeah.
Okay, great.
Kind of, sort of. The case is still open.
It's still open, okay, because they haven't solved.
They haven't solved any. They got certain names and things. The case is still open, but they're not in contact like they say they are. Because you got murders after murder after murder after murder after murder. So they say, oh, we sleep, we don't sleep. It's too much crime happening for them to even focus on a murder. I mean, they don't have enough detectives to focus on one crime after another. I'm not saying my child was special and my child crime, but my child crime needs to be solved. That's just the point blank. If you got to sleep around the clock, one detective says, well, this is not TV. Well, duh. I'm 48 years old. I look at all the crime shows. I know how this stuff works, but I know if you're a good detective, you're going to make sure you get no sleep because it's going to bother you.
Right. I wonder what TV has to do with this when you're a mother that's mourning your son and you want answers. That would be a poor analogy to give to a mother that's lost her son, her only son.
My only son. And that's when I looked at him and I felt like, are you serious? This is what you're saying to me about TV? Really? So I looked at my child's father and I just said, get me out of here, because this dude thinks we're talking about TV. We're talking about my son's life.
And this was when this first happened? You were told this?
Yes. He said, oh, by the way, this is not TV. We're in Norfolk what is it? PCO, POC?
POC.
Virginia Beach Boulevard.
Yes.
And we're standing there and you're going to tell me that this is not TV. Come on.
Wow.
You're not talking to cartoon characters either. You're talking to two parents that want to know, what are you doing about the situation of our child's life? Yeah.
And how often did you have to interact to try to, figure out what was going on? I know that you don't have any answers still yet today, but how often did you reach out to the police department and other entities to get assistance to help you?
Almost to the point where I got all the way to the corporal of the unit, the head of the unit, to let them know my concerns. And I also called down to Chief Boone's office and got no response. So what is he there for? I'm trying to figure that out. What do we have these chain of commands for when no one is following them?
Now, how long has it been since it's been?
October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. We're in 19 months now.
Okay.
And still no answers.
No answers at all about who killed your son, how, anything that would have happened. Do you know, like, that night, the story of what happened?
It's so many different stories out there without compromising the case. There are some things that I can say and some things I can't speak on. But in a sense of saying things is gonna come, somebody's gonna pay for the actions, because it's happened before.
Okay.
Again, in the same sense, in another case. So somehow or another, but me getting answers is definitely not from the Norfolk Police Department. You best believe it. It's not coming from them. It's coming from me doing my research. Me being a mother of not gonna get any rest or sleep until I find out what happened to my child.
Okay. And can you describe your son?
Oh, he's just a big, jolly, goofy, big-hearted person. He was just a ball of fun. Loved basketball. He loved children. Didn't have his own children, but he loved children. He loved to joke. He was just a sponge of fun, and he had a little edge to him sometimes, But anybody that would always say, "I saw your son today, and he just is funny. He just joking. He looked just like his dad. He looked nothing like you," and it's never nothing bad. Nobody never tell you nothing bad about your children. And like I always tell everybody, my son wasn't an angel, but I know he wasn't a bad child either. He was everything I asked for. He gave me everything that I asked for. I asked for a high school diploma. He got it. I asked him to go to college or get a trade. He got it. He went back and got his bachelor's for welding. He got it. He was doing maritime welding. He got it. So he had no children at the age of 29 and 28. His 30th birthday is this month. Matter of fact, 10 days from today. And I hate to say it that my son is a statistic because he didn't make it to 30. And those are things we have to look at. Those are things we have to not focus ourselves around, but things we have to notice. That at the same time, my angel to me is a statistic because he didn't make it to age 30. And it's sad.
Yes. And so also, I just wanted you to elaborate on how this has affected you mentally and physically.
Mentally, I'm going to be honest, my mind is not set right. It's totally has set me back to where I was a bubbly soul. I was a top pure romance seller. I nursed 25 years. I don't want to nurse anymore. I don't have no love for that at all. I won't let you die on the street if I see you because I took an oath. But I don't want to do it in my life no more. I have no energy to do anything because my best friend is gone. I've had total 5 strokes, which I didn't know it had affected me that badly. Health-wise, it's shaky. Suicide, no. Homicide, yes. Anyone to say they don't feel anything because they lost their child, lie. They always ask you if you're suicidal. And they always ask you the question, how do you feel when you lose your child? When you prepare to bury your parents? No one never asks you how you feel to live without your children because they don't expect it to go that way. Well, it's very hard, I'll tell you that, especially if you have a good relationship with your child or your children. It's very hard to live, and no one discussed that. It's not just 8 steps of grieving. There's a lot of steps of grieving, and if we count them, we'll never stop counting. And anger never go away. It never go away. So if you're not in counseling, I suggest you get in counseling because that keeps me at a calm level. Emotionally wise, counseling keeps me stable. Counseling keeps me stable because we was taught that we cannot get angry. We cannot be depressed. We cannot be emotionally, physically unescaped, unharmed, or mentally want to do something. Not true. It's days I don't want to put clothes on. It's days I don't want to fix myself something to eat. It's days that I just don't want to do nothing but cry. But my therapist gave me one good piece of advice. Give myself permission to do whatever I feel. And that's what I do. And I've learned to this bag of stones that I'm taking, I don't have time to pick up other people's pebbles and put them in my bag because my bag is already heavy. And if you don't realize it, I wish no death upon nobody. But if it ever happened, we plan to bury our parents. We plan to bury our grandparents. We never plan. And they never talk about how do a parent survive after losing their child. And that's something that they need to focus on more. Because with this pandemic, on top of depression and anxiety, it's a big pill, very big pill to swallow.
Thank you. All right, and I basically would like to ask the way things are going on in society now. Yes, we have COVID, and people are dying from COVID, as I always state, but we're losing so many more still to gun violence and violence. So I just want to know your take on the current events right now that's happening.
COVID-19 is hit close because my brother had it. They're not telling the success stories because they don't want to scare the public as far as the COVID-19 has gotten people to the point where I don't care about your life, you don't care about my life. I care about your life, you care about my life. COVID-19 is more than a virus, it's a bacteria. And with the current events going on and the killing still going on and all the routing and the raids and the riots and things that's going on, don't they see that this one man has divided this country once again? Don't they see that you have to have belief in whoever you believe in, whoever you pray to? I have to believe in my heart that my son would not want me to be here and be unease because of what's going on. It's hard as the COVID-19, the killings, the emotional drains with the families, the things that people are going through that can't get assistance, like myself, because I don't have a child under age 6. I don't have disability. I haven't been approved for that yet. Or my doctors got me out of work. Now, I'm not working because I don't want, because I can't work because of physical mobilities that I have. I've been a nurse for 25 years. I never seen nobody break. I broke. I couldn't believe I would break. And I broke. And I said the only thing that could break me would be my son. And that broke me. And I never ever thought anything could break me, and it did. But I keep praying because I know my son, with the bubbly spirit that he had, he would not want to see me in this way that I am. So days that I don't feel like doing stuff and days that I do like doing stuff, I think about my son and I put every negative thought that I have, I put a positive on top and wipe that negative away. I keep that away because I separate his life from the tragic, and that helps me out a whole lot through the COVID-19 because my baby brother had the COVID-19, and I first thing I thought of was he gonna die because that's what they say, COVID-19 death, but they're not saying COVID-19 and a success rate.
Yeah. I'm
So
sorry to hear about your brother. I'm glad he has survived through these times with COVID, because I know some people that have lost loved ones as well, and
yeah,
I lost a high school friend. But the other question was, and I hear you speak about his dad. So where's his dad at right now?
his dad passed away a year later after my son. My son died October 23rd of 2018, and his father died November 23rd of 2019. That was another reason why it's so hard for me, because even though he and I wasn't together, we co-parented my son, and we was really close friends. And he died because of the doctor said he had a heartache, and him and my son had a very close relationship. Did it damage me? Yes. It was a year to the date after my son passed away, and I had to go through this same thing again, and looking at this same person's face and build, and it was a lot. From the year to the day of me and my son and his father, he wasn't a straightaway father. He was a father. He was not my baby daddy. He was my baby. He was my child's father, because he was there from day one to the day we buried him by my side. And to have my best friend and my son, it hurts really bad. I feel like a part of my heart is gone because of both of them is gone. And one person that knew my son better than me was his dad, and I don't have him either here to talk about. So anyone that could talk about my son with me is now not here with me at all either. So that set me back. And people realize, they say, oh, you get over it. It's not just that easy to get over. And if you say it is, then be good. Try to step in my shoes and see how you can walk in them and see how strong it'll be. And then you can tell me how you'll react.
Is there anything that you would like to give for advice to others going through the processes that you're going through? Is there anything that you can give them as a takeaway?
Always give yourself permission. Don't let no one tell you how to grieve. It's more steps than 8 steps of grieving. Your anger always going to be there. Never let no one tell you that it gets better. You let them know it gets tolerable. It never gets better. And that's my perspective. This is my opinion. And you can learn to how to use your tools. But I will say, if you lost your child, do not think you can do it by yourself. The same way as we was raised in the 70s and the 60s. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to support a person. A person that has lost their child has lost the most precious thing ever in life. And when they lose that child to gun violence and don't know who took their life, everyone is suspect. Everything is no trust. Everything is dropped. And you have to refocus yourself around how you subject yourself to living. You have to wonder what and how you're going to do life. You have to give yourself permission. If you don't want to cook, if you don't want to eat, give your body some nutrients. As if it's just fruit, vegetables. Just make sure you keep yourself hydrated. But give yourself permission. Because if you don't give yourself permission, you will break. You will crack. You have to find ways in coping. And coping for everybody is different ways. Some people can turn to drugs, some people can turn to alcohol, some people can turn to the Lord. But when you turn to whatever you turn to, pray to the person that you pray to directly. Don't go around the bush. Don't go, because God see and know everything. Go to whoever you pray to and go to them directly and tell them how you want life, what you want life to be about. Because if I didn't go to therapy, I don't know where I would be at right now. It took me a long time. Shauna, my mother, it took me a long time. And it took 4 therapists until I found the right one. You're going to have to search for that person, but reach out and look for that person that you feel that you're comfortable talking to. Because the last year, and I'm still going to therapy, it's helped me a whole lot. And I found my days less crying than and frowning. I found my days more smiling a little bit more. Not that I forget about my son, because I think about my son every moment, but I laugh a lot more. I see him saying, "Mom, I'm proud of you," more. Yeah, I'm being selfish because he's not in flesh, but I feel him. I know he's around. He hasn't visited me yet because he know I'm not ready, but I know he's around.
Well, I want to thank you for taking out and having such, your time this evening, having this courage. I know how hard it is, and how the days could be up and down. So I am very proud of you for doing this. And I also would just like to ask you if you can reflect on HR Mass as a nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
If there's anything you could say, just let the people know.
I think if I had not met Shauna, I don't know where I would be at right now. Because I was a basket case when she met me. I was a firecracker. I was ready to beat everybody up, snatch eyeballs out. But with HR Mask has helped me realize that I'm not the only one out there going through this. I'm not the only one that lost my son. And I know I'm not going to be the only one left, but I know at the same time that comfort will come out of this because of Shauna. God directed her to my life for what reason? I don't question that. I just thank Him for her. I want to cry sometimes, and sometimes I don't, but it's crying of healing. My therapist say healing is crying. You don't have to. Had not I made that one phone call, Shauna would never come in my life. And I don't think I would never have smiled again. But because of Shauna and HR Mask, it really gave me hope, because I always looked at her and say, how can you be so strong when you lost your baby? And that's never the way. I thought I was being selfish, but she was actually showing me that it could get better or tolerable without her child being here, without our children being here with us. We don't know why. We just know they was following God's orders to be obedient to Him. And they're watching over us, and they're God's angels. But reach out. HR Mask is great. It helped me. And I tell anybody that I may not talk to her every day. It could be days, it could be months. But I know she's always there. And I know she does a lot. And it's overwhelming, but I know she never forget me. But it has not been for her and HR Mask. I don't know at this point right now I would be where I'm at. Because it took me from October to July to get into therapy. All because I didn't want to face it. Shauna has helped me get to the medical to determine the examiner's report. Mask is a good group to be a part of. And it's just no pressure. And it's no judgment. So I appreciate her from the bottom of my heart. I really do. And Shaq and Vidal will always be remembered, and always know that they got their mothers here fighting for them and their rights, because someone was cowardly took them away from us. Shaq and Vidal, we love you, and we always will.
Love you too. Thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure of doing this.